All you electric radio program fans, sit tight. I'll be back with one of your favorites right after this. For a long time on radio and television, I worked with a guy named Bill Mazer. Now, from what Bill told me, he was on radio in Buffalo, New York before he came to New York. As a matter of fact, he told me he was radio in Buffalo, New York. So imagine my surprise to find out there was somebody else on the air in Buffalo as well at one time. He also wound up in New York with stops in Detroit, Philadelphia, and Miami along the way. And I'm talking about the leader of the Royal Order of the Night People, Joey Reynolds. Joey, hi.
Well, Bill Mazer was on the air. He had a bigger plow.
Yeah, Bill did sports up there. I guess he owned the sports part of being on the radio. And were you on the air at the same time with Bill?
He was on television.
Was he?
Yeah, he was a big television star. He's an amazing person. You know, he has photographic memory, and he remembers everything about every team, every player, and every position in history.
You're telling me? I worked with the guy for 9 years. Come on!
There were two guys. There was another guy on television who had actually, he did have photographic memory. He could look at the camera, which was very, very disconcerting, and he memorized the entire newscast and never looked down to give you any relief from him. His name was Chuck Poth. So he was on...
Was he in Buffalo as well?
This is in Buffalo on Channel 2 in that city, which was NBC at the time.
Yeah.
Chuck looked at the camera like this and just stared at the camera all over the news. Made you crazy. And Bill Mazer was the sports guy. So there was a contest. I was in school. I was in high school, and it was the Announcer of the Future contest. So I entered it and won it. But I rigged it. You know, I mean, we in those days we mimeographed, and I mimeographed the votes, and I got caught. I was stopped, and so I didn't get the prize money, but they gave me the appearance on the show just for chutzpah.
You know, I met Bill in '64, I guess it was, when he came to New York, and I came to New York at the same time to work at NBC Radio when it went all talk.
Yeah.
And I had the feeling that I had walked in the middle of an anecdote Bill was telling. It's now 2000. He's still telling it. When did you make the move? I mean, you traveled around quite a bit.
28 jobs.
28 jobs?
Yes.
Can't you find something you like?
Well, you know, this is a business where you should buy a U-Haul.
Yeah.
And get yourself a woman who likes to travel a lot.
And likes to pack.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. It's show business. We're a little crazy to begin with.
You bet. Let's see. I started out in Annapolis, Maryland, moved to Norfolk, Virginia, moved to Ohio for a while, and then I came to New York and was in New York for a very long time. I went out to L.A. for 3 years and then came back to New York. So I haven't had that many jobs. I mean, I've had more jobs than the number of cities I've worked in, but 28's a lot.
Well, I was doing a network.
You must be very old.
I am very tired. No, I was doing a network the hard way instead of doing it one city.
In person, right.
Yeah, that's it. One city at a time.
Door to door.
We didn't have satellite yet. But curiously, I became the first satellite host in the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In Los Angeles, I had a show called Satellite Live and another show called Rockline.
Radio or TV?
Radio.
Radio.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever want to be on television? I know...
I've been on television a lot.
A lot?
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
Well, no, it's a tough one, you know, because it's not a matter of preference. I like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm doing right now is a charm because it's a hit. When you have a hit show, you love it. It's easy. Well, when you're fighting everybody all the time, then it doesn't matter what you're on. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in print.
See, I don't want my boss to hear me say this, but I would much prefer to be on the radio than on television.
Why?
I think you have more freedom to be yourself. You have less people that you're dependent upon. You know, it's you and the microphone and the listeners.
This is easy. I mean, you got a nice staff. Everybody's fun. You got 27,000
but you don't
varieties.
see these people without their makeup on. You don't see these guys when I come in here in the morning before they have that first cup of coffee and all that stuff.
This is easy. Look at the freedom you have. You can say whatever you want. They're going to edit this?
No.
Well, there you are. That is freedom.
But this is a unique situation for television. I've been on the other side of the coin, too, where every paragraph, every comma has to be approved and edited and so forth, and that's a drag.
No, so this is a good
And it would
show.
be for you, too, because you enjoy, I'm sure, just saying whatever pops into your head.
Yes, I tell everybody that I'm at CBS without the C. That's me. And the show is a hit, so it makes it wonderful. You know, remember Gleason said how sweet it is.
Oh, you bet.
When something's a hit, it's a hit.
See, I'm BC. You're CBS. Before, that's how old I am. I've been in this business since before it was invented. Come on, are you kidding?
Now, do you remember Joe Franklin when he was short?
I remember Joe Franklin. I once said that Joe Franklin looked like an olive.
What?
Yeah, because he had his hair, black hair, plastered down, and he had been away, and he had a bit of a tan and one thing or another. And he was going to sue me for saying that he looked like an olive. So I remember Joe Franklin, yes.
He makes fun of me all the time. He says that I'm older than he is.
Nobody is older than he is. He's older than dirt, and you know that.
He's had 40 years of being on television.
Exactly, and with great success too. And like everybody else, Joe is easy to make fun of, but you can't not like the guy.
No, he's great. And he loves everybody too. He gives everybody a shot.
Now, WOR is a radio station that my grandmother listened to. I mean, it's part of the fabric of this area with a great reach because it's got a big signal. It's heard all up and down the East Coast, I know for sure. But it has been part of the New York area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, forever. Yeah. And I guess being on the air on a regular basis on a station like that, everybody sooner or later listens to you.
Well, there's a couple of pertinent facts, I think. First of all, WOR is the first talk station in the country. They invented it with Barry Gray, whom you used to sit in for.
Yeah.
Barry was the guy who, by accident, started a talk show when a Woody Herman record didn't work. And he held the phone up to the microphone. And they eventually figured out how to wire up the phone. And it's a different technology now. So we have both technologies, and I get both demographics. Since you have the heritage of 75 years of a station that never changed its format. Never. I mean, you know, WOR, you'd wear a Sony Graveman. I mean, you know, you would never really turn the thing off. And then there's a young crowd that likes the contemporary talk we have. So it works both ways. You know, I've got Joan Rivers and Bob Grant. So
see, my grandmother listened to the first John Gambling.
Yeah.
We're now on the third one, I believe.
Yeah.
And he did a show in the morning on WOR, just like his grandson does now. The only difference was he had like a string trio in there, some violinists, and a bunch of canaries.
But here's the good news.
And the canaries would chirp and the violins would play and he would talk. It was a wonderful show.
This is the good news. This is the last gambling. No more guys doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a woman doing it? Are you
no. I mean, there's no more in the family to do this.
No more kids?
They have kids, but they're not going to do this.
They're not going to do this. So the last gambling.
Yeah.
But he's going to do it for a long time yet, because he's not that old.
75 years they've had the franchise. He doesn't know what it's like to be out of work.
Exactly. Or to have 28 jobs. We're going to take a little break on that note. Don't touch that dial. I'll be back with Joey Reynolds. I want to talk a little bit about Joey's book when we come back.
Good.
I'm talking with Joey Reynolds. I'm sure many of you listen to Joey on WOR. Those of you who find it a little difficult to get to sleep at night because he's on from midnight till what, 5:30 in the morning?
5.
Till 5 in the morning. And Joey's got a new book out. It's called Let a Smile Be Your Umbrella, but Don't Get a Mouthful of Rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got a couple of mouthfuls of rain somewhere along the way, didn't you?
No, I've had a good life. You know, it's really interesting that you get up and... my book's positive. And so I get up and I tell people what a wonderful life I'm having and I've had.
Yeah.
And it makes them crazy because there's no story.
Well, then why
there's no scandal.
Well, there's no words in this book. It's all blank pages.
That's right. No, I've had a wonderful...
Didn't sink into depression with booze and drugs?
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, okay.
But that's over. That's 21 years ago, 22 years ago. I mean, it's a day at a time, but it's over. I mean, it's history. I'm so happy to be carrying a positive message to people. You know, we got a vice presidential candidate who's doing that now.
Yeah.
And he's going to be very popular. Whether he wins or not is another story. That's his game.
Yeah.
But, you know, the fact of the matter is you got a guy that stands for that. And like most of us, I think everybody knows right from wrong. And instinctively, we know right from wrong unless you have a lobotomy.
Yeah, well, but a lot of people don't care.
Well, I don't know that we don't care. I think we need to role model a little more with what we're doing. I don't want to be too preachy, but I
No,
I
go
think
right ahead. I'm all in favor of positive role models, but the problem is a lot of people look at these positive role models and say, well, that's for him, and then go about their business.
Well, I have a daughter in school for troubled teens up in DeSisto School in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, and I'm active in it. And in the school, the kids do not get expelled, the parents do. So you have to be involved in it. It's a very, you know, I mean, we're not involved in our kids' lives when we're busy having 2 jobs and we're not at home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. These are real things that presidential candidates never address. I don't know why, but you know, why don't we have certain things happen, like a cell phone, for instance? This is real simple. If I make a telephone call on the cell phone, I pay for the time, and you who receive the call pay for the time.
Yeah.
Why is that? Or you know there's those things that
why
affect
is that?
us. Why do
I'll
we have
tell you why
tokens?
is that. Because the phone company is smarter than we are. That's why is that.
But you know, I mean, if we don't address some of the things that really affect us every day, you know, like, I mean, you don't have to have
Joey, I think you
cell phone.
just said something that 90% of the people who are watching right now don't know.
What's that?
That you pay on both ends on cell phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scam. You know, people figure stuff out and they bleed us, and we're busy. What they do in government, because we have very small government right now, is we really let everybody do whatever they want because of money. You know, you can call that anything you want. I call it greed. But that's what it is. I mean, you know, if you're driven by that, and you're not driven by God, and you're not driven by the things that really count in this life, like what's inside of us, then there's going to be trouble in River City and every place else in Jersey.
Right.
You know, I mean, really, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about that. And I love Lieberman. I think he's great. And, you know, he made the announcement from his Connecticut home, which was by satellite with separate dishes. So you got a guy who really is going to be a great candidate. But I'm not pushing for him.
Of course you're not. Of course you're not. I have a feeling you're like most old Democrats. You're going to vote early and often.
If a Democrat would never talk about politics, because a Democrat is not political. A Democrat, a liberal person, wouldn't bring color or religion into it.
Well, I think some Democrat once said that he is not a member of an organized political party. He's a Democrat.
Maybe Barbara Streisand is right.
Maybe she... No, but what you're talking about is something that rings a bell with me, because I have heard now for 15 years a lot of politicians talking about family values, family values,
Yeah.
family values, and yet I rarely hear any one of them talking about what family values really are. And you were just talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's making sure that you are in touch with your daughter constantly, and you're part of her life. That's family values, folks.
Well, see, God is not a Republican. Let's start with that.
He's not a Democrat either.
No, he's nothing in politics.
Yeah.
He's everything and nothing. The deal here is that if I don't do the things if I don't do the things that I want to do for you to help you have an easier life, you're not going to want to do them for me. Isn't that a tough concept? I mean, how can we be friends if I'm not going to do anything for you? How can if I don't spend time with you, if I don't return calls and do all these little things, how can we be friends?
Well, you know, there are a lot of people who just don't.
But we need to do that again.
I know, and I'm glad I'm glad you're saying all of those things.
And you're a great guy. You've had a wonderful career.
Oh,
You're a gentleman. You're having me on your show. I'm really appreciative to know you. Is that a horrible thing to say?
No, that's
You're giving
wonderful.
me your time. You're giving me a lot of time on the air. You're mentioning my book, which I'm commercially, I'd like to make some money. But, you know, you're a wonderful person. Now, what's wrong with that? What, is this, like, bad? What's bad here?
You're not going to get an argument out of me on this
No.
stuff. Do you get arguments from people on the air over that?
No, because I don't put out mean. You know, you get back what you put out. You know, most of can I tell you one little thing?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I went to an NAB convention, and this is just shop. You know, you've been in the business.
National Association of Broadcasters.
I went to the convention, and I said, you guys, there's something really I've noticed. Everybody is mad on the air.
Yeah.
Rush is mad, Laura's mad, Howard's mad, Imus is mad. Everybody nationally is mad. How many mad people are we going to have on the air? So the next year, when we had our convention again, I said, remember last year when I was talking about how everybody's mad? I said, this year you got the audience mad. So now they're all calling in mad. So how many, you know, see, the audience follows us.
Well, exactly. It's what you said before. What you put out is what you get back. And
Yeah.
what's being put out on the airwaves now by a lot of people is mad, is hate, is anger.
Yeah, it's anger-based. And so we have encouraged people to be rude on the phones, on radio, right? What do you think they're going to do when they get on the streets then? They think they have permission to be rude? It's rude still, or I'll take the blame. Or I think I still have permission to be rude. I don't have permission to be rude. Who gave me that authority?
Well, I tell you who gave you that authority is the guy who's rude to you in the first place. The guy that you listen to every day for 3 or 4 hours, who is rude all the time. He's rude to everybody. And therefore, you get rude, and it carries over into... What I'm trying to say, I guess, Joey, is that what we see and hear on the air carries over into real life.
Yes, well, it is real life.
Because we're all sheep. Or many of us are.
Well, maybe cows.
Okay, I'll buy that. The cows are okay, too. But the thing that I'm saying, when I did talk radio for a number of years,
Yeah.
I was there to have a good time. I was there to have fun, to make up things like the bridge between the RCA building and the Empire State Building that you couldn't see from the ground because it was painted like clouds, and have midnight bus rides and have all that. We had a lot of fun on the radio. We tried to talk about the subjects that were in the news as well, but not yell at each other, not be mad at each other, but also to have fun. Frankly, I don't stay up very late at night, so I don't listen to you much at night. But most of the people I hear on the air right now are angry. They're not having fun. They're insulting people. And that's one of the reasons why I don't listen to the radio much anymore.
How can you be mad when you have a 6-figure job and Tony Bennett stops by in the middle of the night and sings live? How can you be mad? What are you going to be mad at?
That's you.
Well, I have no reason to be mad.
Let a smile be your umbrella. The man has no reason to be mad. You can hear him on the radio Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
starting at midnight. So actually the people who
Get up to go to the bathroom.
No, they put out, say Tuesday through Saturday, because he starts at midnight on Monday, which is really the beginning of Tuesday. That's too confusing a concept for me. He's on from Monday. Joey, pleasure having you on the program. Thanks for coming. And for those of you who would like to know a little bit more about Joey, you can hear him on WOR Radio, as I just said, or you can find his book in your favorite bookstore. It's called Let a Smile Be Your Umbrella, and Wednesday, the 16th of August, Joey will be at the Barnes & Noble store. Where else but Clifton, New Jersey, and he'll be there at 7:30 if you want some information about his appearance. There's the phone number on your screen. Oh, we have yet another one. Joey, you're getting more popular by the minute. He's also going to be in Springfield at 7:30 on Wednesday, August the 23rd. So you do these appearances, and then you hustle over to New York and you do your show, right?
They sell coffee in these bookstores.
Keep you awake?
I call it Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's a signing, and it's a cup of coffee, and it's great. It's
Well,
been
have
fun. I get to meet people, and then I get concepts from them. Strange ideas, like, I love my kids, and I want to spend more time with them.
Wow, what a strange concept.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing.
Joey, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You come by anytime you wish. Yeah, we'll give you a book to sign and a cup of coffee. I'll be back with a cast of 36 people, all played by one guy, so don't go away.